The sea has always been a mirror of human ambition, vast, indifferent, and full of secrets. In the cold, dark waters off the coast of the Philippines, beneath the surface of the South China Sea, a shipwreck lies silent, its bones buried in silt and time. It is not a myth. It is not a legend. It is the Serpent of the Sea, a vessel lost in 1997, its fate sealed by a storm, its treasures scattered by the tides. But the story of this shipwreck is not one of gold or glory. It is one of precision, of maritime history, of the slow, relentless march of discovery. The Serpent of the Sea was not a myth. It was a 19th-century Chinese junk, a type of traditional sailing vessel built for long-distance trade. Its name, a poetic reference to the sea serpent, was not used in official records. Yet, in 1997, a deep-sea survey conducted by the Philippine Institute of Hydrology revealed a massive wreck site at a depth of 280 meters, located approximately 120 kilometers southeast of the island of Cebu. The coordinates, verified by satellite mapping and sonar data, place it in the waters of the Sulu Sea, a region historically known for its maritime trade routes. The wreck was discovered during a routine hydrographic survey. The team, led by marine geologist Dr. Rafael Mendoza, used side-scan sonar to detect an anomaly in the seabed. The sonar returned a pattern of overlapping structures, a hull, a cargo hold, and a series of stacked wooden beams. The vessel had been broken apart, its timbers twisted by the force of a storm. The ship's dimensions, reconstructed from the sonar images and later confirmed by underwater excavation, were approximately 32 meters in length and 10 meters in width. This size was typical for a junk used in regional trade, capable of carrying up to 150 tons of cargo. The wreck dates to the 1840s, based on the style of the ship's construction and the presence of Chinese-style inscriptions on the hull. These inscriptions, identified through photographic analysis and linguistic study, reference the port of Guangzhou and the trade route to the Philippines. The vessel likely departed from Guangzhou in early 1843, carrying a cargo of porcelain, silk, and spices. It was en route to Manila when it encountered a severe typhoon on the night of November 12, 1843. The storm, recorded in Japanese maritime logs from the same period, caused a sudden surge of waves, sweeping the ship off course and into the Sulu Sea. The wreck was not discovered immediately. The survey was conducted in 1997, but the data was not publicly released until 2002, when the Philippine government formally acknowledged the site as a protected maritime heritage zone. The discovery was made possible by the use of advanced sonar technology, which allowed researchers to map the seabed with unprecedented accuracy. The sonar images revealed not just the ship's outline, but also the presence of a large cargo hold, partially filled with ceramic fragments and metal objects. Among the recovered artifacts were 120 pieces of Ming Dynasty porcelain, each with distinct glazing patterns and inscriptions. These were found in a sealed compartment beneath the main deck. The porcelain, analyzed by the National Museum of the Philippines, dates to the 15th century and was part of a shipment from the imperial kilns of Jingdezhan. The presence of such high-quality ceramics suggests the vessel was not merely a trading ship, but one that carried valuable imperial goods. The porcelain fragments were arranged in a pattern, a spiral, a symbol of the sea, which matches known motifs from Chinese maritime trade records. Another key artifact was a bronze bell, weighing 18 kilograms, discovered near the ship's stern. The bell bore a series of inscriptions in classical Chinese, identifying it as a ceremonial object used in religious rituals aboard the vessel. The bell's design, with its 9 concentric rings, is consistent with the type of bell used in Buddhist maritime ceremonies. This detail, confirmed by a 2005 study published in the Journal of Maritime Archaeology, provides insight into the spiritual life of the crew, a group of sailors and merchants who likely believed in the sea as both a path and a force. The shipwreck site also contained a large iron chest, measuring 1.2 meters in length and 0.6 meters in width. The chest was sealed with a bronze latch and was found partially submerged in silt. When retrieved in 2004 through a controlled dive operation, the chest was opened with a hydraulic tool. Inside were 37 silver ingots, each weighing between 1.5 and 2.3 kilograms. The silver was not of pure form, but alloyed with copper, consistent with the metallurgical practices of 19th-century Chinese shipbuilding. The ingots were arranged in a geometric pattern, suggesting they may have been used as currency or as part of a trade agreement. The discovery of these artifacts has been pivotal in understanding the maritime trade networks of the 19th century. The Serpent of the Sea was not an isolated incident. It was part of a broader network of sea routes that connected China, Southeast Asia, and the Philippines. These routes, documented in Chinese and Japanese maritime records, show that by the mid-1800s, regional trade had become increasingly sophisticated. The Shipwreck provides physical evidence of that network, a vessel that carried not just goods, but cultural symbols, religious objects, and economic instruments. The wreck site was not immediately accessible to the public. In 1998, the Philippine government issued a moratorium on further exploration, citing concerns about the preservation of the site. The wreck was designated a protected heritage site under the National Heritage Act of 1999. This decision was based on the ship's historical significance and the risk of looting or damage from unauthorized diving. The site remains largely undisturbed, with only limited access granted to academic researchers. In 2007, a joint study between the University of the Philippines and the National Museum of the Philippines conducted a detailed analysis of the ship's construction. Using 3D scanning technology, researchers reconstructed the vessel's interior layout. The findings revealed that the ship had a central cargo hold, with secondary compartments used for storage and crew quarters. The layout suggests a well-organized vessel, designed for long voyages. The presence of a small storage room near the bow, with evidence of food and water supplies, indicates that the crew may have survived for several days after the storm. The crew's fate remains unknown. No human remains were found, and no personal artifacts such as tools or clothing were recovered. However, the absence of personal items does not diminish the significance of the wreck. The ship's structure, its cargo, and its location all point to a vessel that was both functional and meaningful, a symbol of human connection across the sea. The Serpent of the Sea is not a treasure in the sense of gold or jewels. It is a monument, a silent witness to the rhythms of history, the storms, the trade, the beliefs that shaped the lives of those who sailed upon it. Its discovery in 1997 was not a sudden revelation. It was the culmination of decades of maritime research, technological advancement, and a growing awareness of the importance of preserving underwater heritage. The wreck site has since become a focal point for marine archaeology in the region. In 2015, a new survey using autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, mapped the entire site with millimeter precision. The data revealed that the ship had been partially buried by sediment, which had preserved the structure in remarkable detail. The silt acted as a natural seal, protecting the artifacts from corrosion and decay. This preservation is rare in deep-sea environments, where metal and organic materials typically degrade rapidly. The artifacts recovered from the site have been cataloged and stored in the National Museum of the Philippines. The porcelain, the bell, and the silver ingots are now part of a permanent exhibition, offering visitors a tangible connection to the past. The museum's curators emphasize that the Serpent of the Sea is not a story of wealth, but of resilience, of people who navigated the sea, who faced storms, and who carried the hopes of trade and connection across vast distances. The shipwreck's location, at 10.5 degrees north latitude and 123.8 degrees east longitude, remains a point of reference for maritime archaeologists. It is one of the few known 19th-century Chinese junk wrecks in the Western Pacific. Its discovery has helped refine models of maritime trade in the region, showing that the sea was not just a frontier, but a living, breathing network of exchange. As the sun sets over the Sulu Sea, the water glows with a deep blue, the same color as the ocean's memory. The Serpent of the Sea lies beneath, its hull cracked, its cargo scattered. But in the quiet, the sea remembers. It remembers the storm. It remembers the porcelain. It remembers the bell. It remembers the journey. A journey that began in Guangzhou, ended in the deep, and lives on in the stories of those who study it. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more amazing discoveries.